Morning. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing really well. My name is Hannah and I'm a horror and thriller author from the south of England. I make videos about reading, writing, researching and marketing, so if that sounds like your cup of tea, please do subscribe. I've not done a huge amount of Booktube content recently, probably not this year actually. There's no particular reason for it, it's just I get caught up in the AuthorTube side of stuff and the writing community and got a bit sidetracked. So I thought for this video I would go over my top 3 books of 2020 so far. Now, I'm not going to lie, actually none of these books were released in 2020, they're just books that I've read this year. I'm not particularly good at reading new releases, I never have been. So yeah, these are all, they come out probably in the last 3 or 4 years, and I've only just gotten around to taking them off of my TBR. Just for fun, I'm also going to be taking a look at the Goodreads reviews for these books, just really quickly to see if the general reading public agree with what I have to say. And quite often they do not. So, without further ado, let's crack on. Book number 1, so these are no particular order, it's not like 3, 2, 1 or whatever, so these are just 3 books that I've read this year that I've really enjoyed, no particular order. So the first book is The Hollow Tree by James Brogden. I think this is his second novel, though I don't really remember. It came out in 2018, I think, and it is a horror. I've definitely spoken about this book on this channel before. I think it was back in the horror tropes video where I talk about using sort of children's nursery rhymes in film and how that can translate to novels. James does it really, really well in this book. I definitely recommend checking it out. This is the kind of book that, I don't know if anyone else has had this or if it's just me, when you read it and you think, I really, really wish I had written that. I really wish that was my idea, because this idea is wicked. I really enjoyed it. I was first introduced to James Brogden by the Abominable Book Club box subscription, where I think it was The Plague Stones that came in that one. I read that and really enjoyed it too, but I have got to say I do think that I prefer The Hollow Tree. The Hollow Tree tells the story of Rachel, who loses her arm in a tragic boating accident. The phantom sensations she has from her missing limb essentially intensify until she realises that they are not phantom sensations at all. If you love horrors and thrillers and a bit of folklore and local legend, I would 100% recommend The Hollow Tree. Now I'm pretty intrigued. I want to see what the good readers of Goodreads have to say about this novel. I did this kind of thing on a video a while back and people seem to really enjoy it, and I haven't really done it since, but I thought I would mush these 2 things together. So I'm just going to have a really quick look at the reviews. So the overall rating is 3.8 out of 5. I would say that's a bit harsh. I think I did my own review of this, and I think I put 5, but if I was to write a proper review, it probably would be around 4.5. I really enjoyed the humour in this and the timing. I thought it was quite stereotypically kind of bumbling English humour, even though I think the author is originally Australian. But actually, so the reviews, the first page of reviews are a mixture. It goes from anything from a 5-star right down to a 2.5 star, and the 2.5 actually doesn't like the humour. So, yeah, a lot of people have taken issue with the pacing in the novel. Says that Brogden reveals too much in the first act. I'm not really sure that I feel that. I'm not really sure where they're coming from with that, to be totally honest. But most people do seem to enjoy it, so I recommend it. The second book that I really enjoyed so far this year is Hackseed by Margaret Atwood, which is a few years old now. I think it originally came out in 2016. I'm a bit slow, off the mark, but hey, whatever, I really enjoyed it. Hackseed is a revisiting of Shakespeare's The Tempest. It was really, really big when it came out, really, really popular, very well marketed. I think if you are into contemporary literature or Margaret Atwood at all, you probably would have seen this thing around, and for good reason. It is really good fun. This one tells the story of our main character Felix, who is ousted from his role as an artistic director at a sort of arts festival, which even just reading in my head I was unable to pronounce. It's spelled like make-sure-wig. I don't know, it's Canadian. He's ousted. The whole book is essentially him plotting how to get revenge, and he does that by using people he works with at a prison. I honestly found this book really, really entertaining. I think it's multifaceted, I think it's complicated, which is absolute classic Margaret Atwood. She's not going to give us anything really simple. I really liked how the main character had an awful lot of layers, and a lot of his personal story the rest of the characters are just not privy to, but obviously the reader is, and I really liked that element. Another really fun thing about Hackseed is it is quite full of Shakespearean swearing, which is kind of used as a plot device, and it's really interesting how Atwood does it, so I 100% recommend this book. And I'm really intrigued to see what people say about it on Goodreads. So, Hackseed has an overall rating of 3.84 stars out of 5. I think that's probably quite fair. I read this really quickly and thoroughly enjoyed it, and I love Margaret Atwood, so I'm probably a bit biased. Again, I would say this is probably around a 4.5, touching like a 5-star for me. I'm just obsessed with it. But I can see, I think with all Atwood stuff, I can kind of see why some people might get stuck or tripped up by her style of writing, or by the things that she focuses on. The majority of the reviews on the first page are 4 and 5-star. Makes sense. Oh, I have found one 3-star. Oh no, there are two 3-stars right next to each other. So this person says that they're just not a fan of Atwood, and that's fair. Some people are just not a fan of the fact that she retold The Tempest with this novel. Again, I suppose that's fine. I've never actually read a retelling of The Tempest. I have read The Tempest and I have read this, and that's it. But I can see, Shakespeare retellings, they're not exactly, new hat, I guess. So I can see how that would stick for some people. But I think this was really good, and I definitely recommend it. Last but not least is book number 3, and that is actually not this one. It is Rosewater by Tate Thompson. However, I have lent Rosewater by Tate Thompson to my dad because he loves sci-fi, so I only have the second one here right now, and I haven't actually read this yet, but it's on my to-be-read list for however long until I get to pick it up. But Rosewater was a bit of a curveball for me. It was not on my TBR this year at all. I saw it on a post a really long time ago about sort of new approaches to sci-fi, and it piqued my interest because, to be honest, I was getting a bit bored of the standard sci-fi stuff I was reading. I think it can get me a bit samey, and there weren't really any new voices. And then I read Tate Thompson this year, and that all went out of the water. Out of the water? Out of the window. Interestingly, curveball to this video, I found out the other day that when people do that, it's called an egg corn. It's when you get a phrase or an idiom wrong, but you don't know it's wrong. Though obviously I knew that one was wrong. But like when people say something like, for all intensive purposes, I think is one that people say quite often get wrong. And obviously you mean intense, not intensive. That kind of thing. That's what that is. Or when people say case and point rather than case in point, egg corn. Anyway, back to what I was actually talking about. Tate Thompson. Rosewater is an amalgamation of so many different ideas and sci-fi tropes and a little bit of horror that I can't. When I initially started reading it and I was trying to recommend it to other people because I was just in awe of it, me trying to explain it accidentally made it sound terrible, I think. So in Rosewater, there are kind of zombies. There's like an under the dome style situation going on. There are aliens, there's mind reading, there's certain powers, there's obviously a totally new culture because it's set in Nigeria, which is super interesting. It reminded me a little bit of Lagoon. Essentially, I had all of these concepts in it that made me think that it was kind of a mixture between like Under the Dome, District 9, and like the Minority Report. And somehow Tate Thompson manages to tie all of those things together, make a cohesive, understandable storyline, and make it really entertaining. Totally in awe of this guy. And he went to the same university as me, which I didn't realise until I finished the book, and I also thought that was really cool. I definitely credit Rosewater for getting me back into sci-fi of late. I think literally I went for about 3 or 4 years without reading any sci-fi. It just wasn't doing it for me. It didn't feel fresh. There wasn't any exciting new perspectives on it, and Tate Thompson has completely changed that. So if you love sci-fi already, or if maybe you did and you've kind of dried off it a bit recently, give Tate Thompson a go. I'm really intrigued to see how people react to this on Goodreads because there are so many things going on in Rosewater. I think I think that could be a common gripe, is that there are too many things going on, but we will see. So the average rating for Rosewater on Goodreads is 3.8 out of 5. I'm not going to lie, this book was a 5-star for me. I absolutely devoured it. Thoroughly entertaining. So the reviews on the first page are mostly a mixture of 4 and 5 stars. Overwhelmingly positive. 4, 5 stars. People are saying they're not surprised this thing has won awards. Why is this guy not more popular? I want to ask that too. Why is Tay Thompson not more popular? I have found one so far, a 2-star review, just under the first page, so on the second page of reviews, and it is exactly what I thought it would be. So this person says that they enjoyed the tone of voice and the way that Tay Thompson writes, but they didn't think this was their kind of book because there was way too much going on. It's too convoluted a story. I kind of understand where they're coming from. There were a lot of things going on. Within the first maybe 150 to 200 pages, you've already been introduced to the idea of the dome, to some family issues, to the mind reading, to aliens, to sort of zombies in a way. There's a lot to digest in order to accept the world as Tay Thompson has created it, so I can see where this person's coming from. However, I just found that exciting and new and like a really brave way to write a novel. So I got it, and the majority of people on Goodreads did get it, which is great. I agree with everyone on Goodreads today, which is really unusual. So that is it for my top 3 books that I've read so far in 2020. I don't know that anything I'm reading right this second will kind of get into my top overall by the end of the year. Probably not. Slight confession, I am reading Midnight Sun right now and it is taking me forever. I may never finish it. That certainly is not going to make its way into my top anything. Maybe my top worst. Maybe, we'll see. So yeah, that's it, my top 3 books. So that's it for today's video. If you did like this video, please do hit the like button and be sure to subscribe to my channel. I won't be live streaming for a little while as I'm sorting out a new laptop, and my current laptop is just, it's not powerful enough. It won't cope. If I live streamed, I think it might set itself on fire. So no live streaming from me for a while, but I will be back hopefully in October. Please let me know down below what are your top 3 favourite books so far that you have read in 2020. Thanks for watching. I'll see you later with another video.